The phosphorus cycle is probably the most simple, mostly because there's no atmospheric component to the phosphorus cycle, and it's super slow. So we'll get into that. Anyway, here we go. All right, so phosphorus, cycling, like I said, is very, very slow. And because there's no atmospheric component, it tends to stay pretty local. So the phosphorus in one area is going to kind of stay there mostly. And it's cycling through the food webs in all kinds of ecosystems. And if you think about the things that we use phosphorus for in our bodies, in our molecules. We have nucleic acids. There is phosphorus. So, right, one sugar, one phosphate, one nitrogen base. Oh, I just emphasized the wrong word. One sugar, one phosphate. Anyway, whatever. Right, and then also ATP, right, adenosine triphosphate. That is our energy. Another thing that we use phosphorus for is our phospholipids. So what our cell membranes are made out of. And so phosphorus is super, super important for the biosphere. And so it is also one of the plant macronutrients, and it's usually a limiting nutrient because there's so little of it available. It's because it is so stable and so slow and insoluble that the phosphorus that is available is a small amount, so therefore it's limiting to producers. And so that phosphorus that is in our bodies returns back to the land through manure of a lot of aquatic birds, so fish-eating birds and bats excrete guano as their manure, and it's very, very high in phosphorus. And so weathering and bacteria can return that phosphorus that is excreted back into the soil. Now, we of course mine large quantities of phosphorus to make fertilizers. Again, right? Making synthetic fertilizers uses a lot of energy, but we can mine that from the rock that it's locked up in, which we'll get to in a moment. However, I want to reiterate again, if you didn't notice that this is super important, phosphorus does not exist in the atmosphere. So with phosphorus being locked up in these rocks and sediments, like I said, we can mine them and create fertilizers from them and other products, of course. And human activity, right, unlocking that phosphorus from its reservoirs can result in a lot of phosphorus entering our waterways. So whether it's runoff from animal waste or fertilizers and sewage treatment systems, is all going to add excess phosphorus into the system, which means that we have some pretty serious ecological consequences, especially in aquatic systems. We end up with an algal bloom. And here is your diagram of the phosphorus cycle. So give it a pause, print it out, take a look, right? Phosphorus cycle is really simple. Like I said, it is very much local because it's not in the atmosphere, major reservoirs and rocks. So, ta-da, phosphorus cycle.